Hello, welcome or welcome back. I'm Tally, and today we're going to go through my most anticipated horror releases for Q1 of 2025. If you can hear any noise in the background, my partner is currently being Santa and his elves and wrapping up some presents, so please ignore that. If you are listening on the day this goes out, Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And let's go through this list. I have 8 books for Q1 that I'm anticipating. I don't know a lot about them, so it's going to be me just kind of checking out the story graph for synopsis and just basically putting them on your radar if you think they sound interesting, and we will go through them in the order that they should be published, as long as that's correct. But let's just jump in with book number 1, and this is Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. So I have been meaning to read this author for quite some time, and I was lucky enough to get a NetGalley arc of this book, so this will be the first of his I read. It comes out on the 7th of January, and this follows a young man, Noah, whose southern family, who are normally quite kind and polite, have been becoming more and more far right due to a cable news show that they have been watching over the years. One day his mum leaves him a voicemail saying that the Great Reawakening is here, and he assumes that it's just a conspiracy theory she believes in, but then his phone calls start to go unanswered, so he goes back to his family home and finds it to be a complete shambles, and his parents are completely locked in like a trance state, staring at the news. It is then that his mother brutally attacks him, and this starts a rash of family members brutally attacking their loved ones across the country. Next, I have Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and this is by Grady Hendrix. I am quite a Grady Hendrix fan. I only have a couple in his back catalogue that I need to get to. I quite enjoy the way he writes. I enjoy the way he brings comedy into it, and I really enjoy how he approaches kind of societal aspects, but in a horror way. And as well as that, I love a good witchcraft book. If you've watched any of my top 10 lists that I've been doing over the last few days, I enjoy a good witch story. I enjoy a good coven story, so I have high hopes for this one. It comes out on the 16th of January, and this is set in Florida in the 70s, and we follow 15-year-old Neva, who is taken to Wellwood Home, a home for unwed mothers, to carry out the final 3 months of her pregnancy. It is there that she makes a group of friends, and one day a librarian gives them a book of witchcraft, and their lives are changed forever. Next is another author that I am obsessed with, and another book I have been privileged enough to get a NetGalley arc of, so I'll be sure to share my thoughts as soon as possible. And this is At Dark I Become Loathsome by Eric LaRocca. This comes out on the 28th of January. Eric LaRocca is quite well known for his horror short stories. I think he captures horror so well in a short story. I'm looking forward to this one. So this is about a man who has lost his wife, and his young son then disappeared, and he has spent years in the grief of that situation, and he decides that he is going to construct a ritual that helps those that want to get away from the grief of their life. So this is very much a story about death and trauma and love, and it's going to be dark and intense and all those things that Eric LaRocca does so well. So I'm very much ready but scared. This is about 170 pages, so it's a novella, so I think that this will do really, really well. Oh, coming out on my birthday, 4th of February, in case anyone's wondering, is Listen to Your Sister by Nina Vale, and I am so curious about this book, and the cover looks fabulous. This has been comped to Jordan Peele films, Stranger Things, and it is a speculative horror novel, and this is also a debut for this author, so it's ticking a lot of words that I like to hear in my books. This follows 25-year-old Carla, who is struggling. She's recently become the guardian to her 16-year-old brother. She's really overwhelmed. It's so much hard work, and she is a bit fed up of being the one that always has to make sacrifices for her family. Her son Jamie is very good natured, but is also quite reckless, and he is very passionate about fighting for things that are important to him without fully thinking it through. He's a 16-year-old, you know. Then she starts having recurring nightmares, and in these nightmares she sees her brother dying and she cannot stop it, and this plagues her. Then one day her brother's recklessness at a protest spirals their entire lives out of control. They go on the run and her nightmares do not cease. They Bloom at Night is the second book by Trang Cha Tran. I actually went into detail about their first book in my top 10 horror reads of 2024, so I'm sure you can understand why this is quite highly anticipated for me. And this is set in Mercy in Louisiana. I love that kind of like Bayou atmosphere. I really like books that are set in that kind of atmosphere. It's just so, especially when the author can write it, so it's like thick, the air is thick, the it's musky, it's I don't know, I can't really explain it. I've never been there, but it's just how I assume it feels. And this is set there, and it is after a devastating hurricane has wiped out a lot of the town. It's mutated the wildlife which fill the river, and it's one of those places that it feels like the entire town is just plagued with these monsters. And we follow Noon, who is trapped in the submerged town with her mum, and she believes that her dead family has been reincarnated as sea creatures. The Unworthy by Augusta Bazdarica, translated by Sarah Moses, is the second book by the Tender as the Flesh author. I love Tender as the Flesh. I read it a few years ago, and it's still, I still get creeps just thinking about it. So this is set in a convent, in a sacred sisterhood, and it's a novella, and we follow the sisterhood who all have their secrets, and lies start to come to a head, and there's some sort of revenge. And honestly, that's all I need to know. It's like 160 pages. It sounds awesome. I trust Augustina, so yes, please. Coming out on the 18th of March is The Haunting of Room 904, and this is by Erica T. Worth. I have been meaning to pick up this author for a while. In particular, I want to read White Horse, and this comes out in March, and I think it sounds like something I could enjoy as well. So this follows Olivia, who is someone who has the gift that she can commune with the dead. It was supposed to be a gift that only her sister had, but when her sister dies of unexpected and strange circumstances, Olivia starts seeing the dead, and they won't leave her alone. Years later, she's the most in-demand investigative paranormal investigator, and she's really good at her job, but the loss of her sister haunts her to this day. And it's then that she finds out about the Brown Palace, which is a Denver hotel in which every few years a girl is found dead in room 904. The owner cannot explain it. It doesn't matter what room the girl checked into, they will turn up dead in 904. Olivia feels drawn to it, wants to investigate it, and then her past comes firing back. And then the final one on this list is by an author that is just an absolute auto-read author for me, and that's Stephen Graham Jones. So The Buffalo Hunter comes out on the 18th of March, and this is a historical horror set in the American West in 1912, and it follows a Lutheran priest who is transcribing the life of a vampire, and the vampire is someone who haunts the fields of the Blackfeet Reservation, looking to seek revenge on those who are most deserving. I love the way... Hey, don't you hit my tripod. Gorgeous boy. I love the way Stephen Graham Jones writes, and I will pick up anything by him, and I'm very excited for this one. So they are the horror books coming out in Q1 that I am most anticipating. Is there any I missed off my list? Are there any that you also want to check out? Make sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you wanna, and if you wanna see future videos by me, and I will see you tomorrow for my most anticipated fantasy and romantasy books for Q1. Bye friends. Before you go, I just want to say, firstly, Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. Secondly, thank you so much for joining me today. I just want you to know that you are a good person. You're worthy. Thank you for being with me. I'm proud of everything you achieved this year. Bye.